Joining us now is Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Oji. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. How are you?
Fine.
Good morning, Tim.
Morning, Oji.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. We begin what's trending in Nigeria. Reacting to the killings of 43 farmers and the worsening insecurity in the north, the Northern Elders Forum has called for the resignation of President Muhammadu Buhari. The group, in a meeting yesterday, expressed outrage over the massacre, saying life has no value under Buhari's administration. It added that in civilized nations, leaders who fail so spectacularly to provide security will do the honorable thing and resign. The Director of Publicity and Advocacy of the Forum, Dr. Hakeem Baba Ahmed, in a statement described the response by the President's spokesman, Garba Shehu, over the recent terrorist attack as most insensitive. While during his interview on our nightly news program, Newsnight, the presidential spokesman said the nation's service chiefs will remain in office for as long as President Muhammadu Buhari is satisfied with their performance, adding that calls for their sack were out of place. Let's take a listen.
For the sack, no, is out of place, considering that the president is not subject to the opinion of the opposition political party, which has clamored for this all the time, and other people who think that they have a role in it. It's entirely his own determination. He decides who he keeps as a service chief and for how long. The laws don't prescribe a term limit.
We discussed yesterday for the need of the federal government to express some sort of empathy. A lot of people are outraged with his rhetoric, especially the fact that he also talked about not being aware of the tenure of the service chiefs, saying that there is no law that regulates that tenure. I mean, you know, I remember during their campaign season, they used to call for the resignation of service chiefs, resignation of President Jonathan as well. So we Nigerians are asking and we're pleading with the federal government to show some sort of, you know, action with all of the killings that have been going on so far. I'll take a tweet before I come to you from a user who wrote, Garba Shehu, everything isn't about politics. Let's talk performance this time. You guys need to take a step back to serve the people with empathy, even if it's for a day. It'll go a long way. Jundun.
Well, I think that's my favorite word here, isn't it? Empathy. It's so key. And legality is one thing, morality is quite another. Yes, the president cannot be compelled to sack service chiefs, same as he cannot be compelled to honor the invitation that's going to be extended to him by the House of Representatives if the resolution is anything to go by. But morality demands that he does honor that invitation. Morality also demands that, you know, vox populi, vox dei. It doesn't extend, it extends just beyond an electoral victory that people claim, however they got that electoral victory. That's the last time we ever hear that the voice of the people is the voice of God. Now the whole country is united in calling for empathy, calling for the sacking of service chiefs, calling for action. It's not enough to say there's no legal compulsion. You should not be compelled to do what is right. It should be an instinct.
Right. And also with regards to the Northern Elders, it's not only the Northern Elders or the, you know, the forum that is calling for, you know, the issue of the insecurity in the North. I believe also we saw some reports from the Emir of Katsina, who, you know, where President Muhammadu is from, calling on also this whole issue of insecurity in the North. He's saying that, you know, people are being killed and slaughtered like animals.
Well, everybody is saying the same thing. But the difference is that the Northern Elders Forum is asking that President Buhari should resign. And I say that, look, I do not think that that is any kind of advice that will be taken by the president or by his handlers. However, all the other things that Dr. Hakeem Baba Ahmed said on behalf of the Northern Elders Forum, either in terms of insensitivity, lack of empathy, and also the worsening security situation in the country. A lot of people can relate with that. And that's what everybody else is saying. That's the first part of it. The second part of it that you raised about Garba Shehu's statement. Garba Shehu said, look, those service chiefs hold their position at the pleasure of the president.
Of the president.
I do not think that, you know, that should raise any serious argument. They were first appointed in 2015. And what the law says is that they're entitled to 2 terms each. But again, the president can renew for 2 terms. I think in 2018, their tenure was further renewed, early 2018. There are speculations that the president may also have gone ahead to renew their tenure further. And the argument is that, look, you don't change your team in the middle of a crisis. As I said earlier, when we first discussed this subject, Femi Falana had gone to court, on the matter, quoting Section 26 of the Armed Forces Act, and saying that there is nothing in the Armed Forces Act, Section 26 thereof, that gives the president the powers to just continue to renew the tenure of service chiefs. Well, I don't know the status of that matter, if indeed it is in court. But the response from government is that there's something called the revised, enhanced terms and conditions of service for the armed forces of Nigeria. And that under that law, Section 11.08, Section 11.09, that the president of Nigeria has the powers, to keep whoever he wants in that position for as long as he wishes, whether that person has attained the age of 60 years or has completed 35 years in service. Because the main argument of the service chief groups is that, look, these service chiefs, most of them have already, their tenure has not only expired, their term of service in office has also expired. Some of them haven't reached 60 years or 35 years. But of course, they have the law to back it up on the side of government. But the service chiefs groups people, they are saying, look, they have not done well. We need new blood, new thinking. If you do that, there will be new people who can be promoted. There will be new opportunities. And third, we can at least make some progress. But the curious part of it is that Garuba Shehu said the president can keep them not just at his own pleasure, if he is satisfied with their performance.
That's another outrage.
And that is the issue, where that's the point where many Nigerians disagree. Okay, if performance is the issue, so they will ask Garuba Shehu, are you satisfied personally with the performance of these service chiefs who have been given marching orders almost on a yearly basis? Every year they get marching order to go and rejig strategy, to go and reconstruct architecture. But we have not seen any rejigging of a strategy. We have not seen any architecture changing. There was even the national security strategy around which they staged a dance and a song. And I think on this program, we invited somebody to analyze that national security strategy, which we thought was going to make a difference. Okay, here we are, 76 people killed in Sokoto, so 43 or whatever number, we never get the numbers right in Nigeria, slaughtered in Zabamari. So the moral point that is raised, therefore, is that if something is not working, take a second look at it. And we hope that Vice President Osinbajo, saying that the government will review its strategy, where this is about this 5th time that strategy is being reviewed, will include change of personnel and, further reinforcement of whatever strategy that is in the document.
Well, I think that's the rhetoric Nigerians are calling for, change the strategy. Rufai, what is your take on this story?
If the presidential spokesperson says, based on performance, and he thinks the performance of the service chiefs currently is commendable, then that means we have General Patton and General Horatio Nelson that we don't know. So it's obvious. But for me, I just want all of this to end.
Yes.
I just want all of this to end. All these killings, it gets too much. I am fatigued that anytime I turn on the newspaper dailies in Nigeria, you hear of one killing or the other. I'm fatigued. I'm tired. I'm fed up. Yenema, like the French will say, Yenema. That was what led to a movement of young people in Senegal, and they named the movement Yenema. I'm fed up. Because it's getting too much. We had a guest this morning that came to speak about it. And morality. Sundu, you raised a very critical point. Morality is the compass of a nation. Not just the legislature, not just the legal angle to it. The personal morality. Recently, I had been studying again Watergate. I had copious notes on Watergate. And I saw that at first, Nixon wanted to stay on. But the morality of the House of Rep members and the senators, when their constituents started hitting them hard, that you can't support this man that has done something wrong. Even Nixon's counsel then was the first to come out to say that we did something wrong because of the morality. As at the time Nixon left power after Watergate, out of the 47 million Americans that voted for him in the previous election, he still had the support of over 12 million Americans. So it's not that people were not supporting him, but the morality. And if there's anything we have lost as a nation, it's the moral compass. The National Assembly shouldn't even get to the point of, passing a resolution before the president comes out to talk to Nigerians. And he should talk to us, because we look up to him as the father of the nation. He's our president now. And please, Mr. Gorbachev should stop thinking anybody wants the president to fail. I want the president to succeed. If he succeeds for all of us. He's our president now. With those that voted for him and those that didn't vote for him, he's our president. And the criticism is because we want him to succeed.
All right. We'll take another story. The Nigerian Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, has denied saying that Nigeria is at the mercy of Boko Haram after the recent attack by the terrorist group in Borno State. The minister, while reacting to the report in a meeting with online publishers on Tuesday, described the reports as social media abuse, share fabrication, and abuse of platform. While explaining further, he said terrorism is a global problem that requires the collaborative efforts among nations, and that Nigeria needs the support of global partners, especially in the area of acquisition of effective platforms to deal with the terrorists. The minister reiterated his position that something urgent needed to be done to the rein in the abuse of social media. In the meantime, on Monday this week, a military court in Abuja demoted a former theater commander of Operation Lafiya Dole, General Olusegun Adeniyi, who once led the military onslaught against Boko Haram. Well, according to reports, the tribunal found Major General Adeniyi guilty of violating some sections of the policy on the use of social media for personnel of the armed forces of Nigeria. The general was demoted by at least 3 years after the court-martial found him guilty of producing and publicizing a video on the counterinsurgency operation in the Northeast in a manner that embarrassed and ridiculed the armed forces of Nigeria. Well, let's take a quick look at that video before we comment.
Good morning, sir. General Adeniyi. Sir, the soldiers are not running. The 3 battalions are standing and fighting, though we have casualties. The intelligence assessment concerning the Boko Haram is very wrong, sir. Since yesterday, we have been met by very strong resistance, more than pockets of Boko Haram. This morning, from every flank, not less than 15 gun trucks are facing us. These people have fired more than 100 RPG at us, and have fired several mortars at us. And they have fired more than 100 RPGs and so many mortars on us. This is the true situation, sir. I'm here on the ground. This is General Buba here, sir. No any general is running or not leading the men. Sir, look at this soldier. They are not running away. Neither is any of them afraid. We are good to go. We are good to go, but here, now these things are working against us.
Well, we took this story a couple of months back, and if you remember clearly, I don't believe that he was the one who shared the video on social media. It was some sort of leak. But as you can see, he was clearly complaining of lack of equipment, which at this time is a topic that we should be talking about. And for him to be demoted by 3 years, a lot of people are outraged about it.
Well, I wonder if he will appeal, because he has that option. Even though it's a court-martial, the verdict of that tribunal can be taken to the appeal court, which has been known to quash verdicts of court-martial tribunals. He can also go all the way to the Supreme Court if he does feel aggrieved, if he feels that he wasn't given fair hearing or any other reason. So I hope he does.
I hope so, too.
Yes.
Well, first, let's backtrack a little. Now, in this video, what the General Olusegun Adeniyi was trying to do then was to report via video to the Chief of Army Staff, and he did indicate there that, look, they were outgunned by the Boko Haram, and he listed the number of RPGs at the disposal of the Boko Haram, the number of tanks. They were surrounded,
right,
and they suffered this. Some of his men were even weeping. They were crying. And he was restraining one of them to say, look, you are a soldier. You shouldn't cry.
They were all saying they were not running away.
He wanted the Chief of Army Staff to have an immediate on-the-spot report of what was going on. And in that video, he said he would later come personally to give more details to the Chief of Army Staff. That statement was recorded by his orderly, one Tokunbo Obanla, who has now been sentenced to 28 days in prison with hard labor by the court-martial, court. And in his own case, he's been demoted by 3 years. I don't know what that means in real terms. Does it mean he loses his rank as Major General and goes to the lower rank? But what is curious about this is that after this was leaked, it was the orderly that leaked it, not him.
Exactly.
And there is no evidence that he authorized the leakage of that video.
Right.
But the problem is that Section 15 of the Nigerian Armed Forces policy on the use of social media forbids any soldier from, reporting any operation on the social media.
On video?
Or either a video or WhatsApp or whatever from the battlefront. So that's what they are relying on, that policy, Section 15, subsection G of it. Now, this has happened, I think, in the eyes of ordinary Nigerians, we bloody civilians. We think that court-martial court, has not been fair
it's unfair,
to General Aide. I won't speak for his orderly. Now, in April, when he was redeployed from the Operation Lafiya Dole, he was commander of Operation Lafiya Dole, the Chief of Army Staff held a dinner for him, at which he was praised to high heavens.
Yes.
The Chief of Army Staff said, look, when General Aide took over, he took over at a critical moment in the operation, and had the game changed. He became a game changer.
Yeah.
And he commended him for leading his troops from the front, rather from the rear. And then 1 or 2 months later, after that nice dinner and congratulatory message, he was taken before the court-martial court. And then here we are, a committed, disciplined soldier. However, soldiers, they fall under what they call the doctrine of compact, under military law. The most authoritative book on it in Nigeria is written by General David Jemibewon, An Introduction to the Theory and Practice of Military Law in Nigeria by David M. Jemibewon. So soldiers can be taken to the court-martial court, but only for service-connected matters. As in this case, you can say it is service-connected, because this was from the battlefield, a theater of operation. But at the same time, the court-martial, military law, martial law, is not superior to the laws of Nigeria. Okay? It's under the laws of Nigeria, and it's not superior to the Constitution. And the Constitution is very clear in Section 6 of Section 5 of superior courts, and there are superior courts, and that's what Tundu was referring to. Because in a sense, a military court may be a surplusage within the Nigerian judicial system. So the option that is now available to him is to go to the Court of Appeal, where we expect justice will be done. And there are precedents in this regard. Captain Akoni versus Nigerian Army, in a matter determined at the Court of Appeal holding in Lagos in 2016. And we hope that he will seek that redress and that justice will be done, because I think that the martial court has not been fair to him. But that's my opinion as a bloody civilian, as they call us.
Rufai, before I come to you, I'll take another story, then you discuss both. The Nigerian police have been accused of posting an alleged Photoshop image of 2 suspects on their official Twitter handle. The photo was of a man by the name Tuleji Alhaji Abubakar and of a woman by the name Talatu Ibrahim, both of whom the Nigerian police claim they recovered 6 AK-49 rifles. The photo started trending after users on social media identified that the image was poorly edited with the famous editing app Adobe Photoshop. Well, let's take some reactions real quick. One user wrote, if the Nigerian police official handle can brazenly Photoshop weapons and claim they were recovered, imagine how many innocent Nigerians are wasting away in police cells across the country because the police said They are guilty. Hashtag NSAS. Another user wrote to the CEO of Twitter with the caption, "This is clearly a Photoshop image, and it's against Twitter policy. This post is misleading, it's false information, and meant to deceive the general public, and we demand that this account be flagged down immediately. Hashtag NSAS." Well, I guess the Nigerian police has to come out with a statement with their pictures, Rufai. What do you make of the story?
Well, they need to come out with a statement. We shouldn't be seen as purveyors of fake news in the spirit of everybody calling every Tom, Dick, and Harry fake news, fake news, fake news. They shouldn't be seen as purveyors of fake news. And in the first place, if those people are suspects, should they even publish their name on social media?
No, they shouldn't.
What does the law say against that? It's all indicative of this cheap popularity everybody wants. It's not even only the police that does it. Other military forces too. We see all of these pictures. At some point, they started blurring their faces. I mean, what's all of this? If you're conducting the investigation, let it just go on. We know you are working. We appreciate you. And let me use that to segue into appreciating great generals like Major General Aide for his good work in Operation Lafiya Dole. Another man I would like to celebrate, and I always celebrate, is Lieutenant General Lamidi Adeosun, another great patron, in the fight against insurgency and Boko Haram. There are soldiers that are doing great work. We know you are doing great work. You don't need to come on Twitter and be posting all these pictures, and sometimes the police posting fake news to be able to see that you are doing great work. Nobody's under pressure. This is not a media spin. Please, let's do something correctly. Even a blind man knows that's a doctored picture. Because when you look at the editing at the back, it's not a good job at all. We know you are doing a great job. They are suspects. They shouldn't be paraded that way. I mean, look at the image at the back. Look at the blur. Look at the blur at the back. You can see it was cropped and superimposed. You can see. It doesn't even align. You can see. See the reflection.
Okay,
see the reflection on the glass. It's different from the lady's reflection.
Okay, Rufai. Well, I'm not really good at the Photoshop app, Tunju. I'm not really good at that Adobe Photoshop, but I guess all of the points Rufai was making was the same thing everyone was saying on social media with her image and being superimposed. I don't know what you make of the story.
It's clearly Photoshop.
Really?
I have no experience with the app. I don't have to. It's clearly, come on. That's really embarrassing.
For me, the issue is about the parade of suspects.
Yes.
Which is typical.
And I think that is an illegal thing that the police are doing, whether it's the police or any other agency. And we've been on this matter for a very long time. Femi Falana, at a point, in fact, went to court over the matter, saying that it amounts to a violation of the rights of suspects under Section 36, subsections 4 and 5 of the 1999 Constitution. But the police, they keep saying that there is nothing that makes it illegal. But the position of the law, in Obono versus IGP, Justice Eneke ruled that, look, this is not acceptable, that is illegal and unconstitutional. The only exception is in Orok versus the state. And what it says there is that you can only parade when there is doubt about the identity, when you need to do parade identification. But even then, you do not insist that those people are guilty. Even when the parade is for purposes of identification, it does not amount to a conviction. This is the position of the law. But the police, they continue to do this. They convict people, either on social media or, on television. What the law says is that a suspect is not guilty, until that is proven. You are innocent until proven guilty. So all this parade, whether they are using Photoshop or they are doing Adobe, whatever, they should stop doing it.
Adobe Photoshop.
No, but the courts always frown on it because that's really usurping the function of the court. It's a court that will find you
establish your guilt.
Yes, that's it. So it's not the police. The police, their duty is to investigate and arrest, but it's constant. It's one of the many primitive practices that we need to get rid of once and for all.
Yeah, that's it. That's the position in Okemute versus the state.
Rufai, you are going to say something.
Can't those people fight for libel? Those that their faces are being paraded? Can they file for any form of...
they can't file for libel.
Yes, of course, because defamation.
Defamation.
What was the caption?
They said that suspects caught with 6 AK-49 rifles, and people are even saying those don't look like AK-49 rifles.
AK-47.
They're AK-49. That's what they wrote on their Twitter handle.
Oh, okay. But in any case, it's a violation of their fundamental human rights to be so tagged.
So they could file for libel.
Treated like convicts, which is wrong.
Thank you, Dr.
Anyway,
Abati.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
Rufai.